Hi everyone, Shawn Clement here, Wisdom in Golf, and we're at the beautiful Royal Quebec Golf Club in Quebec City. And today is the day we're divulging our number one thing not to do in golf, and that's hit the ball. Don't ever try and hit the ball. The ball is not the target. If the ball is your target, you literally have 180 degrees worth of possibilities where the ball is going to go. And what people don't realize is the direction that you want to send the ball is what gives you your contact with the ball. So you want solid contact with the ball, you got to go to the target. The last thing you want to do is try and focus on the golf ball. See, there's the sticky part. So if you look at a tennis player, so I get my trusty little Owen Davidson tennis racket here, and you do tests all the time. Somebody throws a tennis ball in the air and calls where you want they want you to put it. You'll always, like over 80% of the time, you'll put it exactly where that ball is supposed to go. So what determines your positioning? Well, while that ball is in the air, if they say, left corner of the court, you'll set up and you'll move your body in a certain way to go left corner. And if they're saying top spin to the right, you'll move back and perform a very different maneuver, different positioning. So the direction and the flight of that tennis ball is what determines your positioning and the way that you're going to move through the tennis ball. It's the same for golf. So this here is an intersection on the way to the destination. If I told you right now, go to your car, you'd think, well, that's a little weird. Go to my car and do where? And go where? If I say, well, go to your car so you can go to the office. Well, now you have a destination in your mind. Now the car is worth its while because it's taking you to a destination. Just getting in your car is not going to do any good, and apart from if you want to listen to some music or something. So it's the same thing here. If you don't have a destination for the ball, there's literally an infinity of different directions to approach the ball, different angles of attack to approach the ball. And this is where you're going to be fine-tuning the wrong things. So the more you try and hit the ball, the more discombobulated your swing is going to get. So if I say, okay, I'm going to tee this nice and low. I want to hit a little draw. It's going to start just over the branches of that tree and draw back to my academy building. We're at the back of the range right now on the practice holes. I have an intermediate point here that's going to take me into that destination. Well, now the only way in the direction of this intermediate point, that's too far left, that's too far right, that's underneath it. There, that fits. So this feels like I can go in that direction. It's like if you had a kid on a swing and I want the kid to swing towards you. Am I going to take it this way? That doesn't fit. I have a destination. The destination is you behind the camera. So I need to pull the club back into a direction that's going to allow the kid to swing into the lens of the camera. That's how it goes. So if, let's say, I wanted to fire this ball over this tennis racket, so let's say I'm going to start it to the right edge of the tennis racket, that fits. Too left, way too right, way too into the ground. That fits. That fits. See the blur? The blur fit the direction I wanted that ball to go on. So if my club face and grip angle is such that if it's too open and I swing in that direction, the ball goes off to the right. And then you say, well, I don't want it to go to the right. Now you swing to the left, only because the club face is too open. So have a look at my video entitled Weak Grip versus Strong Grip So you get a really good grasp of how that grip-club relationship is going to allow the ball to go in the direction of your swing. So number one, you have a flight plan. Number two, you have an intermediate point leading into the flight plan. Our vision is binocular. This we are great at. This we're terrible at. So we need that intermediate point not just for alignment purposes, but for delivery purposes. So then I'm going to swing in the direction of that intermediate point, and it's a really easy thing to do. Just look at the blur of the club over the ball. Can you see that blur? That blur is moving to the left of the racket. That blur is moving way right of the racket. That blur is moving to the right edge of the racket. So I'm going this way. Going to start the ball a hair right edge of that intermediate point so I can see it in my immediate peripheral vision. Takeaway matches, top of backswing matches. Then I just need to swing the club and release the club in the direction of that. And if my grip-club relationship is closed enough, and this is how you figure it out, I swing in that direction, observe the ball flight. If the ball flight goes high right, club face is too open to begin with. That had nothing to do with your grip, had everything to do with your grip-club relationship. So if you swing in that direction, and you can put your hand in the fire and swear that you stayed and swung in that direction, and the ball curves too much to the left, curves to the left, not straight left. The ball curves. It actually starts pretty straight or a little right of target and then curves too much. That's when you know your club face is a little too closed to begin with, okay? So the rest is ball position. If I play the ball too far back in my stance, I got to reach back. I can't go to the target. I have to go back and get the ball. And if it's too far forward in my stance, I got to reach out and go at the ball. But if the ball is in the right position for me to go in the direction that I want the ball to start, then I'm allowed to stay with my target, and therefore my chances of pulling off this shot just went way higher. Same for distance to ball. So look at distance to ball part 2. The video you want to look at is especially, it's called Predict Solid Contact and Direction, Shawn Clement. You're going to love that video. And we got that in detail, super detail, on our premium channel. So if I'm too far from the ball, I can swing in that direction, but I'm not going to be able to stay in balance, and my contact is going to be significantly impacted by that. If I'm too close to the ball, I got no space. So if I'm over here too close to the ball, I'm going to have to move back toward the golf ball and pull it to the left. So distance to ball, ball position, club face, and finally my levels. If I swing in that direction, I miss. If I swing in that direction, I top. And if I swing in that direction, hey, it feels like I'm going to strike it very nicely. So here we go. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Stayed with it. The ball flew right over the top of that tree, drew right back into the center of the green. Extremely well struck. Why? I stayed with my picture. My brain says, yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Go that way. Yes, you stayed that way. Confirmed. And the ball went that way. So let's look at what happens when you go after the ball. Well, there's the ball. I'm staying with the ball. See that? That's what you're going to see. A huge percentage of players on the driving range at your local Muni course, you're going to see a lot of this. And then they're going down, angle of attack too steep, and hitting the shots to the left and taking deep divots. Whereas others will say, well, I got to lift the ball in the air, and I got to go back this way and try to lift the ball. So, and other times, you don't see the target properly, you're misaligned, you're going to have to sway off the ball to make room to go to the target. So, what is the real reason why you're swaying? What is the real reason why you're over the top? Over the top is absolutely perfect If the ball is your target, let me prove that to you. I'm going to take this club. I'm going to throw it down the fairway right here, okay? So, I'm down the fairway. I'm down the fairway. Throw it down the fairway. Perfect throw right out in front of me. Now, let's say I wanted to throw the club at the ball. Throw it at the ball. Up outside so I can throw it at the ball. So you'll notice as you see takeaways that go steeply into the outside, that matches perfectly to hit down on the ball. And then we say, well, you need to go more into out. More into out to hit the ball? That doesn't make sense. But what about if I went in the direction of my target? Well, yeah, that makes sense now. Look at my head now. It's staying in position, staying in position, staying in position because I'm staying with my target. The minute that goes away, whoops, over the top, back into the ball. And then your local pro is going to say, well, you know, you need to glue the armpit to the rib cage. And you got to make sure that you grip it very lightly with the right side because your right side is overactive, as if your right side is defective. And all you're doing is not putting your attention where it needs to be. Now here's a little quick tip to help you out. Very, very simple. We take a little grass whip here. This is our Melhorn grass whip. It's got a beautiful little logo of Wisdom in Golf in there to keep reminding you of where you got this beautiful wisdom from. And we're going to put this ball on a tee. Nice high tee like that. So if I'm cutting grass with my grass whip, my focus now is using the blade to cut grass along the surface of the ground. Notice I'm not gouging into the ground with my blade. Wow, that's sharp. Isn't that beautiful? So I got a nice sharp downward steep angle of attack. So if I wanted to slice the ball against the ground, that's what I would do. But if I want to cut the tee out from underneath the ball, this is what I would do. See how nice that was? So all I got to do is just cut through the stem of the dandelion. So I'll make that a little lower. So for those of you starting out, this is your ultimate tool. If you can't find a grass whip in your neck of the woods, go to wisdomingolf.com. Check it out on my Pro Shop page, and Ed will be happy to send you one of these beautiful puppies. So I see my stem, cut through the stem. Isn't that beautiful? So notice how the ball just falls to the ground. So I'll bring that even lower, and I'll go get my 9-iron. Your clubs are first and foremost grass cutting tools. They got a certain width to the sole, a certain bounce, so that they don't dig too much into the ground. If they dug too much, you wouldn't be able to play golf. The leading edge is sharp enough to get through the grass, so you can play golf. So my eyes are going to be right on that little sliver of grass between the leading edge of the club and the ball. My dandelion stem is right in the center of that ball. So I'm going to cut through the stem of that dandelion in the direction I want to go. If there's no direction, then it's very easy to come over the top because you got nothing out there, and it's way too easy to default to the ball in that case. So I got my intermediate point, and I'm going to cut through the dandelion stem with a nice little effortless whipping action. It's much easier to whip through a stem than to force or push through a stem. That's too much effort. So a nice little whipping cut through the stem in that direction. What's that feel like? Oh yeah, it feels about like that. Did you hear that sound? That is bliss on a stick right there, right in the center of that green. Perfectly cut. Look at this. Perfectly cut that dandelion stem, and the contact, look at that, just followed the surface of the ground. I barely broke ground and had beautiful solid contact. So if you want to shallow out your swing, simple. Cut grass toward the target or throw the club towards the target and predict that you're going to cut grass when you do. So I hope you enjoyed that. Get on our premium channel. It's only $5 a month. We're going to show you how to get rid of the stupidity once and for all without thinking about it, okay? You're really going to enjoy it. All the best.